Welcome to your ultimate microblading masterclass. We've made this masterclass to help you master your microblading skills. Do you struggle with your hair stroke technique, with healed results, with brow mapping, with pigment choice? This is all covered in our masterclass. We'll teach you how to properly map your brows, create the most beautiful hair strokes and the best healed results for your clients. So when it comes to eyebrow mapping, I like to have my clients sat up because I find that when you're mapping, when your clients lay down and then you sit them up, the eyebrows go wonky. So it's always better for me to have your clients sat up first. So with Amelia, we've just numbed her eyebrows for, I normally say 5 to 10 minutes for your numbing cream, and I like to use Emla. So we've done that. Don't leave your numbing cream on for too long because it changes the thickness of the skin. So when it comes to microblading, you'll find it quite difficult to get your blade in when you've left the cream on for too long. So the first thing I'm going to do now, I've wiped off the numbing cream and we're going to measure the brow points in order to create the perfect shape. So the pencil that I'm using is the Ashley Aquilina brow mapping pencil. I've sharpened this with a HD Pro sharpener to make it really sharp. The secret to the most crisp, precise brows is to get your pencil really, really sharp. And the next thing I'm going to use then is just a black eyebrow caliper, and we're going to use this to do your measurements. So we're going to do measurements in the middle, the front, the arch and the tail. And we're going to do the same measurements on either side in order to create symmetry on both sides. The first thing we're going to do is find the center point of your client's face. Also, when you're brow mapping, don't really rub your pencil onto the skin, just do one line because you want to keep this pencil really sharp. Also, get your client to close their eyes so the face is completely relaxed. You just close your eyes for me. Okay, so we're going to use the eyebrow caliper to do the measurements first. The first thing you're going to do is you want to find the center point of your client's face. So we're going to bring this stick right down the middle and make a mark just here. And this is the middle of Amelia's face. You're always going to measure from the middle outwards. And I always tell my client to keep her eyes closed so that her face is nice and relaxed. The next point we're going to do then is from the middle to the front. So from the middle to the front is normally 1 to 1.5 centimeters. On Amelia's face, we're going to do 1 centimeter. So we're going to bring it just here and then the same on this side. The only time you would bring it to 1.5 is if somebody had wider set eyebrows. The next point then is to create your arches. So we're going to go from the middle to the arch, and that's going to be from 4 to 4.5 centimeters. I'm going to do 4.5 because I think that if I bring it to 4, the arches are going to be too soon and it's going to make Amelia's eyebrows look too surprised. You want to give her a nice soft arch. So you can hold the measurement here and then do the same on this side. Then for the tail is from the middle to here, and we're going to do this 6 to 7 centimeters. If you just turn your face towards me slightly, please, just this way, thank you. So we're going to go from there to there, 6.5. And then the same on this side, 6.5. So now we've got all our measurements in place. The next thing we're going to do is to draw the shape. So when it comes to drawing your eyebrow shape, you need to really analyse the brows and see is there any alterations we need to make. Is one higher than the other? Is one thicker than the other? Has one got more hair on one side than the other? So looking at Amelia's brows, they are quite symmetrical, but this one has less hair on this side than this side. So I'm going to start with this one first, the one with more hair in. Also, what I advise, if you're right-handed, start with your left brow first. Because I'm left-handed, I'm starting with the right eyebrow. Always start with the hardest eyebrow and then you're going to get better finished results. When you come to drawing your shape, make sure that your pressure's really light in order to keep that line really, really nice and thin. And you want to keep your pencil all the way along the brow bone. Don't come below the brow bone because you want the tails to be nice and lifted. If your tail is naturally coming down here, it's going to give the appearance of a hooded eye and what we call a sad eye. You always want to draw the tails coming right across in order to keep the eyes nice and open and lifted. So now I'm going to start with the right eyebrow. I'm going to pull the skin slightly tight. I'm also going to make sure that I'm really steady on the bed, and you can lean your hand on your client's face so your hand is really steady. Use really light pressure and go right underneath this eyebrow line. We're going to do something called etching. So you're not going to draw a line going straight across. You're going to do small lines and really take your time with it so it's nice and crisp. Keeping it nice and straight and really close to the hairline. Straight. And then we're going to bring the tail across the brow bone until I'm on line with this line. Perfect. So now we're going to do the top line. The top line runs parallel to the bottom line. The thickness depends on your client's face shape. So if someone's got a large forehead, you don't want to give them thin brows. If someone's got a small forehead, you don't want to give them thick brows. So Amelia's got a perfect forehead. So we're going to do just a medium-sized brow. We're going to run this line parallel to the bottom line underneath. We're going to go straight. Then as soon as you get to this line here, that's your indication to curve down. As soon as you get to that line, I'm going to bring that down to there. Then to get the symmetry on both sides, we're going to use the stick part of your caliper. You're going to bring this right across, make a mark underneath here, and then the same on this side. And then to get your arches the same, we're going to bring your stick on top of this arch, go right across and make a mark here. And then for underneath the arches, I'm going to come right across, make a mark there, and then the same with the tail. Come right across and make a mark there. Then we're going to match these up like dot to dot. So we're going to go straight till you get to here, and then bring your tail across. And just turn your head to this side, and then bring your tail right across to there. And then the same on the other side. So nice and parallel, straight till you get to that line, and then we're going to curve it down. So now I'm going to explain the eyebrow pigments that we use. The brand that we use is Soft Tap, and you'll get these on microbladesupplies.co.uk. I love this brand because I find that they heal really well. You don't tend to have to mix the colours. They're really easy to use, they're long lasting, they have beautiful healed results. So the first one is Hazelnut. This is your lightest blonde. So you would use this on blonde, grey hair, blue eyes, fair skin. It's a neutral colour, and these colours are inorganic, which means they're not carbon based. An organic pigment is carbon based, so it has black tones in it. These are inorganic, so they're iron oxide based, so you're not going to get any black or blue tones when the eyebrows heal. So this one is Hazelnut. You can see it's a really nice shade of ashy blonde. So this is really good for your blonde hair, blue eyes and fairer skin. The next colour is espresso. This is your perfect brunette brown. You'll use espresso on people with dark hair, dark eyes, olive skin, black hair, brown eyes, tan skin. It's your perfect brunette. So I'm going to show you espresso. This is a neutral brown as well. So that means it's not got too much orange and it's not got too much blue. It's just neutral. So you're going to get nice medium tones when they're healed. As you can see, it's a nice, rich, medium chocolate. And the consistency is nice and thick, so it's amazing for microblading. The colour doesn't fall off your blade and it's really easy to control on your blade. The next colour is Cafe au Lait. This is your darkest brown. As you can see, this has got an orange sticker on the front and this one is gold. This means it's got orange tones in it. The reason I use a dark brown with orange tones is to prevent the eyebrows turning dark grey or blue. A lot of the time when you use dark pigments, they have a lot of blue-black in them, and then when they heal, they go really cool. When you use Cafe au Lait, they'll heal a nice chocolate brown rather than grey tones. That's why I prefer to use a dark brown with warmer tones. Cafe au Lait, you're going to use this on darker skin tones. Indian, Afro-Caribbean, dark hair, dark eyes, more darker olive skin. And this is Cafe au Lait. It's a beautiful, rich chocolate brown. If you get a client come in and you think they're in between, so they're not quite blonde, but they're not brunette, they're in between, you can mix 50% hazelnut and 50% espresso. If you get a client come in that isn't quite Cafe au Lait, but she isn't espresso, you can mix 50% espresso and 50% Cafe au Lait. If you get somebody come in, whether it's previous work or it's a client of yours that you think the colour's gone too ashy, then we'll use Orangeade. Orangeade is really good for neutralising grey and cold tones in the eyebrows. You can microblade this neat into the eyebrows and leave the colour bath on for 5 minutes, and the orange will soak in and neutralise any cool tones in the eyebrows. This is Orangeade. So the colour that I'm going to use on Amelia's brows, I like to use the soft tap pigments. This one is hazelnut and this one is espresso. Hazelnut's your lightest blonde. This is good for blonde hair, blue eyes, fair skin, grey hair, anybody with really, really fair skin and really blonde hair. And espresso is a medium brunette. So this is good for dark hair, dark eyes, olive skin, darker hair and more tan skin tones. What I'm going to do, I'm going to mix 50% hazelnut and 50% espresso to create a darker blonde. Although Amelia's blonde, she likes to wear her eyebrows a shade darker, and these are both neutral ashy colours, so there's not any warmth in them because Amelia prefers an ashy tone on her eyebrows. So we use two different types of blades for microblading. There's microblading and nanoblading. So the U18, this is a blade that's in the shape of a U. This is really good for all eyebrow types. Bushy brows, thick brows, thin brows. It's a really nice thin blade. It's good for all eyebrow types and skin types. So we're going to use this one first. Then we're going to use the 11-pin angled nano. This is shaped on an angle and it's classed as a nano because it's extra small and extra thin. This blade is amazing for adding extra fluffy hairs in between, making the brows look really textured. So we're going to do the first 2 passes with the U blade and the last pass with the 11-pin nano blade. Each blade comes in a sterilised pack and you use it once and then dispose of it, and you get 10 blades in a box. As you can see, it's super fine and it's shaped on an angle so that when you're microblading you can see your blade in front of you. I'm going to use mine on a 90-degree angle. So to create the perfect dark blonde, we're going to mix 50% espresso and 50% hazelnut. So you're just going to use a pea-size amount of each one. You're going to put this into your pigment pot. So that one was espresso and this one is hazelnut. This is your lightest blonde. As you can see, they're two very different tones. And then I'm just going to use the tip of my Ashley Aquilina scissors to mix this, really give it a really good mix so both the colours blend together. It looks a similar colour to Rolo Caramel. This colour's actually really nice. Perfect. So when you're microblading, you just want to dip just the tip of your blade into the pigment. You don't want to dip your full blade in, just the tip so you can really see what you're doing. To get the perfect crisp hair strokes, the secret is to stretch really, really tight and get the perfect pressure. So we're going to do a 3-point stretch. You're going to pull your thumb up, pull your first finger down and use your pinky finger to stretch this way. When we're doing the hair strokes, you want to go in the direction of the natural growth. And the front ones, we're going to count 2 seconds as they're shorter hair strokes. I'm going to use this part of the blade and it's going to be on this angle. You also want to hear the noise of the blade in the skin to know that you're going the right depth. I always do 1 stroke first, wipe to check the pressure and then continue. So I'm going to do the first hair stroke. We're going to count 2 seconds. 1, 2. And that's how you know you've got the perfect pressure. Then we can continue with the same pressure right the way through. So once you've done one, the next one is going to start halfway along there. 1, 2, and you do a slight twist with your finger and your thumb. I'm going to go from the bottom to the middle. 1, 2, dip, 1, 2, dip, 1, 2, dip, 1, 2, dip, 1, 2, and then the hairs are going to transition and change direction. So then we're going to do a 3-second hair stroke. We're going to go halfway in between here. 1, 2, 3. So I'm stretching really tight. If you can see the way the hairs are growing, we're going to put the hair strokes in with the way the hairs are growing so they look really natural. These ones are going to be long and flat and we're going to count 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Dip again. 1, 2, 3. Dip again. 1, 2, 3. Dip. 1, 2. Then through the middle, we're going to do the same thing. So you're going to put these hairs halfway in between the ones that you've just done. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. So your 3-second hair strokes are longer and your 2-second hair strokes are shorter. Then along the top, we're going to go along this line and then curve down, along the line and curve down. And what this is going to do is going to give you really nice definition on top of the eyebrow. So I'm going to dip again, just the tip of the blade, stretch really, really tight, along the line, curve down, dip, along the line, curve down, dip, along the line, curve down. And then if you just turn your head to the side, when you get to the tail, you're going to bring your fingers closer together and you're going to stretch like this. The closer your fingers together, the tighter the stretch. The further away your fingers are, the looser the stretch. So you want to stretch just like this. Then we're going to do short and straight hairs. So we're going to do 1, 2, 1, 2, dip, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then we're going to fill in between 1, 1, 1, 1. In this small gap here, I'm going to put a 2-second hair stroke going in the same direction. Then we're going to put the colour bath. The reason you apply the colour bath is so that all the pigment soaks into these hair strokes. And then we're going to leave this while we go on to the other eyebrow. On the right eyebrow, we're going to stretch right up really, really tight. Then your first hair stroke, we're going to start at the bottom with your blade on a slight angle. 1, 2, dip. 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 1, 2, and then you can see here the hairs are starting to change direction. So now we're going to do a 1, 2, 3. So you're going to start in between these two hairs. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to do the long and flat ones. If you look at the natural eyebrow hair, see how long and flat these hairs are. When we're implanting the hair strokes, we're going to do them in exactly the same direction so they look really, really natural. 1, 2, 3, dip. 1, 2, 3, dip. 1, 2, 3, making sure you're still stretching the skin really tight. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do on top, so we're going to do the line and the curve again. So we go along the line and curve down. When you curve down, you want this hair pointing towards the tail, so all the hairs are flowing all down in this direction. 1, 2, curve down, dip, along the line, curve down, dip, along the line, curve down. Please can you turn your head to the left for me? Thank you. Stretching really, really tight. Then we're going to come to the tail. So on the tail, the hairs are short and straight, and these are 2 seconds because they're shorter hair strokes. So I'm going to go 1, 2, dip, 1, 2, dip, 1, 2, dip, 1, 2, dip, 1, 2. Can you please turn your head a little bit more that way? Thank you. 1, 2, dip, 1, 2. Then we're going to fill these small gaps. So I'm going to dip again. And then we're going to put halfway hairs in between all of these gaps. So we're going to go halfway in between these ones. 1, 2, 3. So it's all flowing in the same direction. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Then we're going to apply the colour bath. So you're going to dip your cotton bud into the pigment and really, really rub this in. Then we're going to leave this to soak whilst we take this one off. So now you can see we've got the perfect template of hair strokes. And then we're going to apply in the secondary numbing gel. We're going to leave this for 60 seconds and then go in with the second pass. So now you can see we've got the perfect template of hair strokes. You can see all the hairs nice and clear and really, really crisp. This is how we know we've got the right pressure and the right stretch. Now we're going to do the second pass. So on the second pass, you want to fill in these gaps and then go over any hair strokes that you don't feel are quite dark enough. We're really going to concentrate on creating loads of definition here. Amelia likes her eyebrows really hair strokey at the front and a lot more hair strokes in the tail to give more definition. So we're going to keep them nice and fluffy and natural in the fronts. So I'm just going to start to fill these gaps. 1, 2, 1, 2. 2 seconds again. 1, 2. Then I'm going to do some more 3-second ones. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Any hair strokes that you think aren't quite dark enough, you can go over them as well. So this one here, I'm going to go over this one. Dip again. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. This hair stroke here, I'm going to go over that one just to make it more crisp. This one here and that one there. Then we're going to come towards the middle of the brow, stretch really tight, and we're going to start to fill in these small gaps. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And I'm putting towards the tail. I always lift the pressure off. So towards the tail, the skin's a lot thinner because we're on the brow bone. So you don't want to press too hard. You want to lift your pressure off ever so slightly and work really, really lightly on these tails to make them nice and defined. 1, 2. I'm going to go over this one. I'm going to go exactly over this hair stroke as well to make sure they're extra crisp. If you think there's not enough colour in your hair stroke, you can go over it exactly with your blade again. Then I'm going to fill this small gap there and there and that one. And then we're going to cover this in colour. So every time I do a set of hair strokes, then I'm going to cover them in colour and then go to the next eyebrow. And then that allows all the colour to soak into these hair strokes and really seal the colour into the strokes. And this will aid better healed results. So now we're going to do the same thing on the right eyebrow. We're going to start to fill the gaps, add in these nice, fluffy, natural hairs in the direction of the natural hair growth. Counting 2 seconds for each one. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Then we're going to do a little 1-second hair stroke in this gap. And then we want to fill all inside here to create that nice definition underneath the eyebrow. So you should hear this noise of the car driving past. Then if you turn your head to the side, then we're going to fill these gaps here. Every time you blade, you're going to dip into your pigment. And remember that on your tails, you're going to lift the pressure off. So it's a lot lighter pressure. Amazing. Just going to put one more in there. And then we're going to put the colour bath. Actually, I'm going to put one more hair stroke in there. And then we're going to put the colour bath. Just going to dip your cotton bud in. Rub this in. And then we're going to wipe off the left one. you pop your head to the middle. Shall I carry on? Wow, nice. So that's after 2 passes. You can see the brows are a little bit more filled out. They're just going to need a 3rd and a small 4th pass just to really perfect them. You can see the hair strokes are really nice and crisp. We've got nice definition along here, a nice soft arch. We just need to fill the strokes in on the tails here. So now you can see the brows are slightly more filled in. We've got a nice template of really nice crisp hair strokes. And then we're going to use the 11-pin blade just to fill in these little gaps and make them nice and defined and really perfect them. So now we're going to go in with the 11-pin nano blade and we're going to start to fill in the small gaps with tiny, small, fluffy hairs to create that really nice definition and fill in any of the small gaps where needed. And every time I'm blading, I'm dipping. With this blade, you're using the whole part of the blade, so I'm going to stretch really tight. And then fill in any small gaps. Fill this one in there. Then there's one little gap in there. This is why this blade is so good, because it's so small. It's really good to get inside these small gaps and just really add those nice little fluffy hairs in. Amazing. Then I'm going to wipe this away. Gorgeous. So I'm just going to add a few more hairs in the tail just to make them slightly more defined and fuller. And stretch the skin really tight and just fill in these small gaps. And then come back to the middle. Amazing. Then we're going to put the colour bath on for the last time. When you put your last colour bath on, you're going to leave this for 4 minutes to really allow the colour to soak into the brows. Now we're going to do the same on the right brow. And I'm going to fill in between these small gaps using the 11-pin nano. Because the blade is so small, it enables us to get in those tiny little fluffy strokes, creating extra definition and making the brows look even more natural. And it helps fill in those small gaps without the hair strokes merging together. And if you just turn your head to the side, thank you. So now I'm going to fill in the small gaps on the tail. Remember to lift your pressure off on the tail. You don't want to go too deep because the skin is a lot thinner here because we've got the brow bone. At the front you've got a lot of muscle tissue, it's a lot thicker so we can apply more pressure. But when you get to this area, the skin's a lot thinner, so I'm really lifting off the pressure with my blade. Then everything is flowing straight down to the tail, making that tail come to a point really nice and defined. And the tighter you stretch, then you can see the gaps more. So if I stretch this way, I can see the small gaps in between, which enables me to fill in with my nano blade. Perfect. Just going to put one more in there. Amazing. So now we're going to apply the colour bath on this one. Leave them for 4 minutes and then we're going to wipe away. So now we've completed the brows, you can see they're nice and symmetrical on both sides. We've got beautiful crisp hair strokes, gorgeous definition, really nice soft arches, nice defined tails. The fronts are nice and fluffy and natural, and the colour match is perfect. We always like to match the colour to the root of the hair, and that's exactly what we've done in this situation. So espresso and hazelnut was the perfect colour choice. To finish these off, we're going to add the Ashley Aquilina Brow Styling Cream. This is really good to make your eyebrows look extra fluffy. It makes them look laminated. It's got castor oil and vitamin E. You can tell your client to apply this once their eyebrows have healed, but I always put it on right away because it looks really good for the pictures. So we're going to open this up first, and then we're going to apply the cream in an upward motion. Then you put the brush back in, pull the lid off, then you use the styling brush to brush the hairs up. And this makes the eyebrows appear extra full, giving them that extra laminated, fluffy appearance. And then we'll do the same on the opposite side. So we're going to brush the hairs up with the eyebrow cream. Then use the brush and style the hairs like so. So for aftercare, we always advise clients to dry heal. So I tell my clients to leave their eyebrows dry for 7 days, don't get them wet. They'll always go really dark in the first 7 days. Then they're going to flake off. When they flake off, the colour will slightly disappear and then they'll darken over 4 weeks. During this time, your clients can't go in the sun. If they do want to go in the sun after 3 weeks, they can apply SPF 50 to their eyebrows. The best way to heal, in my opinion, is to put nothing on them at all. So like no retinols, no creams, anything acidic, any face scrubs, even facials like laser facials, microdermabrasion, anything like that, your clients need to avoid during that healing process. When they're going on holiday, I tell people to do their eyebrows at least 4 weeks before going in the sun to allow them to heal properly before going away. Thank you for watching. If you've got any questions or you're unsure about anything, you can email us info@aatrainingacademy.com. You can also join our WhatsApp group. If you DM on Instagram your contact number, we can add you to the WhatsApp support group. And in that group, we've got all the students where we all help and support each other with anything microblading and semi-permanent makeup related.